Okay, let's get into this. What we're going to do is, I'm going to just zoom right in. We'll just start right here with question 1. And we have a word problem. So I'm going to use my K, F, N, S to find that out. Remember, K is for know. What is it we know? F is for find. What do they want us to find? N is for not needed. Okay, so if it's not needed, we'll get rid of that. And then S, I'm just going to put out here, is for strategy. Okay, so I'm going to start with what I know. And I'll just circle that in green. So the average 4th grader can read 90 words in 3 minutes. So I know, okay, 90 words. I know 3 minutes. So what is the average reading rate in words per minute? What are they asking us to find? I'm going to put that in yellow. They're asking us to find words per minute. Okay, what is my strategy? Well, when I see something per minute or something per something, I'm thinking unit rate. So I'm just write this out here on the side. Whoops, unit rate. Okay, so I'm looking for a unit rate, and one of my strategies is I know when I see the word per and I'm doing unit rate, I can just cross that out and make a division. So I'm doing words divided by minutes. Okay, well, let's figure that out. What is that? Oh, 90 words divided by how many minutes? 3. So what is 90 divided by 3? Well, I could do this the long way. Okay, I could do this a shorter way as well, because I happen to know that 90 divided by 3 is 30, but I'm going to go ahead and do it the long way so you can see. So if I come over to the right, I say 3 goes into 9 how many times? 3 times. Okay, so 3 goes into that, that's 9. Subtract, I get 0. I'm going to drop, if I've got 0, 0, I need to add that 0 up here. That's how that works. Okay, so if I end up with like a 0, 0, I just put the 0 up there. So I got 30. So 30 words per minute. And I can write either the word per, or I can do this little slash here and do abbreviate minutes. 30 words per minute. Okay. Next, we're going to move to number 2. I'll leave this one up, so we'll keep going. Timmy jogs 18 miles in 3 hours. What is his jogging speed in miles per hour? So let me circle in green right now. What do I know? I know we go 18 miles, and I know 3 hours. What is that? What are they asking me to find? Miles per hour. What is my strategy? Again, that's unit rate. And I'm going to turn my per into a division sign. Miles divided by hours. So what were my miles? If I put it over here, I had 18 miles over 3 hours. Well, what's 18 divided by 3? Or what times 3 equals 18? Well, I can do that in my head. That's 6. So over here, I'm just going to put 6. What am I doing? Miles per hour. I can abbreviate that as MI with the little slash there. HR. Miles per hour. This one, you can also do 6 mph. Sometimes it's abbreviated that way. Miles per hour. All right. So go ahead and write that down. Next question. Convert 7/8 into a percent. Okay. Well, the strategy is I'm going to go from fraction to decimal to percent. So to go from fraction to decimal, what do? I just divide. Okay? 7 divided by 8. All right? So first step, if you want to write this down, you can do it just like this, divide, so that you have notes for the retake. So 7 divided by 8, top dog goes in the house. Okay? This guy goes on the porch. So top dog goes in the house, 7, 8 goes down here. All right, 8 goes into 7 how many times? 0. Okay. 8 goes into 70 how many times? Well, I know my squares really well, so I know 8 times 8 is 64. And if I go one more 8, that's going to be 72, so that's too far. So I'm going to do 8. 0.8. 8 times 8 is 64, like we said. I'm going to subtract. 70 minus 64 is 6. All right, well, now I'm going to have to start adding zeros here. 8 goes into 60 how many times? Well, 8 goes into 860. 8 times 8 is 64, so it's going to be one less than that. That's 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Okay, well, when I subtract, I get 40. Or 4, I'm sorry, 4. I got ahead of myself. I'm going to drop the 0 to do 40. 8 goes into 40 5 times. It equals 40. So I've got 0.875. All right, so step 1 was divide. Step 2 is convert. And I'm going to convert from decimal to percent. And the way I do that, here, I'll write it out here, 0.875. And I'm going to, I'll show you in blue. I'm going to move the decimal point 1, 2. And what do I get? 87.5%. I'll put the percent sign on there. All right, so that is 87.5%. That's where I'm going with that. All right, number 4. I'm going to start moving this. Number 4, convert 26% into a fraction and reduce. Okay, what's my strategy? Well, I can turn any percentage into a fraction by just putting that number, this number right here, over 100. Okay, so if I do that, I get 26 over 100. Can I reduce? Well, if they're both even, I can reduce. I know for sure. So both are divisible by 2 because they're both even. So 26 divided by 2 is 13. 100 divided by 2 is 50. I have 13 over 50. Can I reduce that any more? Well, there's no numbers that go into 13 other than 1 and 13. And 13 doesn't go into 50, so that is reduced. So I've got 13 over 50. That is my final answer. Here, let me just go ahead and put a square around it. Okay, moving on. Number 5, convert 7% into a decimal. Okay, well, my strategy is to convert from a percent to a decimal is just to move the decimal place 2 to the left. Okay, when I do that, I end up with 0. Remember, I'm moving 2 to the left, not 1 to the left. And many of you ended up with 0.7. But if I move 2 to the left, I end up with a 0.07. Okay? Not 0.7. That is the final answer. Because if you check, watch, if I move it back, I'll do it in blue. If I move the decimal point back, I end up with 7%. Okay? So, make sure that you move 2 to the left. And if you want to write that down, 2 places to the left. All right. Next up, what is 25% of 200? So, if basically what they're asking us to find is a percentage of another number. And there were 2 steps on there. They're probably still on the board. The 2 steps were 1, I'll write it down. You can write this as well in your notes on the test, just like this, so that you have it for tomorrow. Okay, convert percent to decimal. And 2, multiply by the original amount. Okay, these are the 2 things I'm doing. So, if I'm converting percent to decimal, I go 2 to the left. What do I get? 0.25 times the original amount, 200. So 0.25, and I'm going to multiply that by 200. Let me start erasing some of this stuff so that we can... All right. So I've got 200 times 0.25. And I always put the smaller, number on the bottom, so I have less things to worry about. Okay, it kind of doesn't matter. Some of you might have been able to do this in your head already, because 25% is 1/4, and maybe you figured out that 1/4 of 200 is actually just 50, right? Because 50 cents plus 50 cents plus 50 cents plus 50 cents equals $2. All right, but let's just do this the long way. 5 times 0, 5 times 0, 5 times 2. Drop a 0, and then I do 2 times 0, 2 times 0, 2 times 2. I get 4. And then I add them together. 0, 0, 0. 1 plus 4 is 5. All right. Now I check how many decimal places to the right do I have. Oh, I've got 2. I move the decimal place 1, 2, and I end up with 50, which is what I said. So I go ahead and put over here 50. You can circle it, put a box around it, somehow indicate that's what that is. All right? That looks right, because 25% is supposed to be 1/4 of something, and so it's going to be a lot less. And 250 is a lot less than 200, so it looks right to me. What is, we're going on to 7, what is 120% of 60? Okay, well, 100% of 60 is 60. So I'm going 20% more than that, so it's going to be a number bigger than 60. So if I get done and I end up with a number smaller than 60, I know I've done something wrong. All right. All right, so let's see. We're going to do convert to a decimal. Okay, that's the first thing. And I do that by taking the decimal place and moving it 2 to the left. That gives me 1.2. Then part 2, I multiply by the original amount. So let's just put it right over here. That's 60 times 1.2. Now remember, I'm always lining up the right-hand side when I'm multiplying. If I'm adding, I line up the decimals, but when I'm multiplying, I just line up the right-hand side. So 2 times 0, 2 times 6. All right, drop a 0. Okay, 1 times 0, 1 times 6. I add those together. I get 720. But I've got 1 decimal place to the right, so I move it back 1. 720 would be way too big, okay? That would actually be 1,200%. Would be 720. So I'm double checking. Does this make sense? Does this sound right? 72.0 or just 72. You don't really need the 0. All right? Yeah, that looks about right. Because what I did was, it'd be the same as doing 100% plus another 20%. So now we know 20% of 60 is 12. So 120 would be 72. All right, I'm going to move the paper again. All right. Oh, another word problem. On a soccer team, 70% of the goals are scored by the star player. If 70 goals are scored in a season, how many were scored by the star player? Okay, what do we know? I'll circle that in green. Well, we're talking, I see 70%. Okay, scored by the star player. All right. I got 70 goals in a season. And what are they asking me to find? How many were scored by the star player? Well, the star player scored how many? Oh, yeah, 70%. 70% of what? Oh, 70 goals. So they're just asking me what is 70% of 70? Well, we know our strategy. We know how to do this, right? Step 1, convert percent to a decimal. 1, 2, I get 0.7. Then multiply by the original amount. So I'm going to have 70. Here, I'll switch to black. 70 times 0.7. Well, 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 7 is 49. 490. Okay, am I done? Is 70% of 70 goals 490 goals? No, that seems like that's going the wrong way, because 70% is less than 100%, so it should be a number less than 70. Oh, see, what happened was I forgot to put my decimal place, move the decimal place over back one. Oh, 49, that seems more correct. So I would put 49, and then I would add in goals, just because it is a word problem. Okay, 49 goals. All right, what is 250 increased by 12%? Well, let's see. There's 3 steps here that I need to do. And the first 2 are ones that I've been doing on the last 3 problems. So step 1, okay, I'm going to convert to a percent to a decimal. I'm showing you at the top of the screen here. Secondly, I'm going to multiply by the original amount. And third, I'm going to add or subtract. I'll put a plus sign. Or subtract from original amount. Okay. So there's 3 steps. Convert. Okay. Number 1, convert. 2, multiply. And 3 is to add or subtract. So increased. Well, when I see the word increased, I think that's going up. Okay, so if I hear increase or added to or markup, markup's another word. If it's marked up, that's all adding. Okay, so my strategy is 1, 2, 3. 1, convert percent to decimal. I move the decimal place over. So I got 0.12. Step 2, multiply by the original amount. Let me do that over here. 250 times 0.12. So 2 times 0, 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Okay, drop the 0. 1 times 0, 1 times 5, 1 times 2. Add those together. I get 0, 0. This is a 10. 1 plus 2 is 3. How many decimal places to the right? 2. So I go back 2. So 30. So I'm done step 1. I've done to step 2. I'm not done yet. Okay, because I still need to do the increase. I just found out what 12% of 250 is. Now I need to increase that. And how do I do that? I'm going to add it to the 250. So I put 250 here plus 30. And what do I get? I get 0. 5 plus 3 is 8. And a 2. 280. Write that in. There we go. Okay. What is 450 decreased by 44? Okay, well, what is my strategy? I'm decreasing or increasing, mark up, mark down, all of these things. I'm going to do my 3-step process that I did before. 1, convert percent to decimal. 2, multiply by the original amount. And 3, add or subtract from the original. Well, it's decreasing. So decrease, mark down, those are all subtract. So I'm going to subtract. Or if you see the word sale, okay, sale price. Say there was a coupon. Those are all markdown things, okay? So we're subtracting. So first step is convert to decimal. 1, 2. I get 0.44. Multiply by the original amount. Here, I'm going to erase some stuff. You should have that already so that I can keep working. All right. I'm going to multiply that by the original amount. So 450 times 0.44. All right. Well, 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 2 is 18. All right, bring the 0 down. 4 times 0, I'm doing the same thing, okay? So 0, 4 times is 20. 4 times 16 is 18. All right. I add them together. 0, 0, 8, 9, 1. Okay, so I've got 19800. Well, I've got 2 decimal places to the right, so I move that back. All right. Step 1 and 2 are done. I have 198. Well, I'm not done yet because I have step 3. Subtract from the original amount. So now I need to take 450 and subtract 198. All right. Well, what I need to do is I need to borrow, right, from this one. So I get 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. All right. 4 minus 9. Oh, I'm going to have to borrow again. All right. So I borrow here. I get a 3. Now it becomes 14. 14 minus 9 is 5. All right. 3 minus 1 is 2. I now have 252. That was the final step. So 450 decreased by 44% is 252. All right. I'm going to move up to the last one. I'll just talk about what it is that we're doing. All right. At a back-to-school sale, backpacks are marked down 30%. Marked down. That's a key word, right? If the original price was $34, then what is the sale price? Sale price is the price after the markdown. All right, what do we know? I'll circle in green. We know that there's marked down 30%, and we know that the price was $34. All right, what are they asking us to find? What is the sale price? Okay, that's the price after the markdown. What? Is there anything not needed? No, all the information is needed. All right, maybe that we don't really care that it's a back-to-school sale. I mean, that's about all I can think of. But it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to use my what's my strategy? My 3-step strategy for markdowns. Step 1, convert the percent to decimal. Let's do that. Okay, 0.30. All right. Step 2, multiply by the original amount. Okay, that's 34 times 0.3. What do we get? 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. I got 102. Well, that doesn't seem like I'm done yet, because I'm not. I've got one decimal place to the right, so I move this over. 10.2. Again, I'm not done, because the third step is to subtract from the original amount. What was the original amount? 34. Minus 10.2. Now, when I am adding or subtracting decimals, I need to line the decimals up. So I actually have 34.0 minus 10.2. Okay, if you can do it in your head, great. It goes much quicker. But if you can't, then we'll do it the long way, which is to borrow from the 4, turn this into a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 3 minus 0 is 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. I have 238. Does that seem right? $238? Nope. It doesn't seem like that's right because it's supposed to be less than 34. Oh, I have 1 to the decimal place to the right, so I'm going to move it back. 23.8. Now, we're dealing with money, right? And it's a word problem. So I want to be kind of clear. So it's going to be, I'm going to use the dollar sign. So $23 and I have an 8. But because I'm dealing with money, I always go to the hundreds place. So $23.80. All right, last one, extra credit. What percentage of questions do you think you got correct? I would have accepted any percentage. All right, so if you thought you got 100%, which I do at this point, that's what I'm going to write, 100%. Okay? And that is the final paper. Here, let me zoom all the way back out so you can see all of it. All right. And then you can use that on the test. Best of luck.